What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut mixtape by rapper and singer YNW Melly. Basically, this product is called IMU, and it came out in the summer of 2018. So the name of this product here is it caught on with some notoriety later as far as what's first going to happen, was because particularly kind of clairvoyant song kind of happened called Murder on My Mind, which particularly caught a lot of spins as far as what's first going to happen. Apparently this is a far more popular song than what originally the chart appeal initially kind of said. Murder on My Mind was the top 15 single on the Billboard 100, but it has over 1 billion plays on Spotify, so it's a pretty good type pitch around the crest of like the Spotify streaming days pitches like that. It's not like those days are over, but it's just the kind of pitch as far as saying back when trap was superbly kind of predominant pitches like that. So it's just good type of appeal, but this is around this is around the very brief momentariness where YNW Melly didn't have like some pending case that's been going on for as long as it has within those pitches. So it's just the format, not very large window to kind of get more music out within those pitches. But I look within the aspect here, he has continued to put out music. I reviewed at least one other prior of his projects, which was November 2019's Melly vs. Melvin. As far as it might be the other way around, Melvin vs. Melly, but he dropped an album in November 2019, which I reviewed back in April 2025. Some good type pitches. From the pitch. This is a classic. Now, the prior one, Melly vs. Melvin, I look within the pitch as far as saying that particular one had some haphazardness about it just because the product of it was kind of split personality type album. It's more missed the sense that it had like some joviality towards it mixed in with like some of the brooding typeness. I felt like the brooding type moments worked better, but the problem with the spiffier type moments when he was in a jollier mood was it just didn't have as much connect in terms of tones, mainly because he was dealing with the caught up system pitches like that, so he wasn't really able to get super blitzed and hammered and go out to strip clubs and some of those type places with them for him. And even if he was, he probably just wasn't doing it for the sake of being productive as far as what's first going to happen. But I look within the pitch. This particular album is very morose within the aspect, very similar to like Lil Baby's 2017 mixtapes. A number of those within those projects, it has a very kind of swamped atmosphere about it, which is surprising to see in this particular tone as far as this pitch going to happen. Seeing him before his court cases within some of the formats of the brief kind of meld of what he was kind of up to. And this is an excellent type product here, but it's not real kind of in your face. A lot of this is just more trap ballads and just kind of morose kind of afterthoughts as you smoke a stogie in some of those type formats. Just been pitch like the heroin kind of red skies kind of wind and pitches like that. Really great for like late August, September, October, some of those type fairs, but it's just been pitched as far as saying it's kind of the product. I question if like YNW Melly was caught up in the system before before his particular charges with the murder charge as far as what's first going to happen, because it's just kind of the pitch that you don't really get like a cognizant sense of like some dance club type moments. He's really not going to like the dance club type moments, having a bunch of twerk songs pitches like that. It's just kind of the format. You think the Tibble type folks that are around this time when you think in 2018, like DaBaby, maybe DaBaby wasn't around his full bound. Maybe he dropped mixtapes, but Migos, some of those type folks, Migos, Quavo, folks like the Migos group, Quavo, you had Meek Mill, folks like that. Nipsey Hussle was still around some of those type pitches within the format, just kind of the particular type format. This was back when there was a lot more cresting and trap, so it's just within the pitch, there was a lot more just jubilant kind of times, just the pitch that he was kind of in a different type focus within those aspects. And it's kind of, this has some attractive attention about it. This is very affable, like I said, pitch behind it. I recommend every song off this album, so it's just a pitch. All 15 songs, so this album gets a 10 out of 10, or this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10. It's just the pitch as far as saying that this is very, I feel like the particular mood and mode this mixtape kind of conveys off here is very connecting with the pitch. And I look after it. Apparently, YNW Melly had a prior project to this one as well called Collect Call. I'll have to see about that one, but this is the pitch. I mean, this says this is his debut mixtape, but this may be his debut retail mixtape because it is on Spotify, so there might have been ones that were like more exclusive to DatPiff and places like that. I'll have to check that out, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying just within the aspect. I feel like this is a far superior record to his 2019 album, Melly vs. Melvin, but within the pitch. Not like that's a bad record, it's just kind of the pitch that this has a real kind of theme that goes about it, that just the moroseness and it's the factor of just the push along. This has some good grit as far as like the concepts of having kind of some swamp type feelings, but having the mode of just having the bustle and just, it's not something that so much kind of energizes you within pitch, but it just has the product that you just feel. It's kind of like how Tupac would make you feel it's kind of like how Tupac would make you feel some of those type pitches. It just, you feel the pain, some of those type folks. There's just certain ones that have the ability to kind of convey pain. Lil Boozy's real good at that. Tupac is real good at that. YNW Melly is pretty good at that in like a new school type sense. It's just in the pitches first. Now, I probably want to say that Juice WRLD is good at that I probably want to say the Juice WRLD was good at that as well as far as those pitches come. So I just look at the pitch as far as saying so just the anguish is kind of on here, just a real kind of just whippings on the back kind of pitches of like real forlorn, just kind of this like scarredness. So I look at them pitches as far as saying, but just as the product, I mean, you would think by the album cover that this has the pitch a little bit more sprightliness, just an aspect. I mean, there is some joviality on here, but it's just not within the pitch. It just feels like I would almost question if YNW Melly was caught up before this album came out because there's just not songs dedicated. Maybe it's just personal opinion as to why he didn't do it, but it's really not like bottle popping kind of champagne type songs and pitches like some real stunt type tunes, the sort of stuff that like the Baby and Future were kind of doing, and Yo Gotti, some of those type folks, just kind of pitch that the festivity. This is not really like a Friday and Saturday type album within the pitch, and that's the same thing about like the Melly vs. Melvin from 2019. So it's just one pitch as far as saying was just the product as far as getting this. This was released before his murder charge, so it's just one pitch as far as saying was still some excellent type of feel. This would be like a late 2010s classic in terms of trap type music that just kind of seems underappreciated. I mean, it did have a few songs with over a couple 100 million plays. Like I said, Murder on My Mind has over 1 billion. It's kind of pitch as far as saying that. I think in certain senses this might be roped in with like the mumble rap kind of pitches behind it within that typical kind of surname about it, but it's actually the pitch that this has a lot of good type of appeal, this aspect as far as saying this is just like some real good trap soul and bleed as far as those first albums. So excellent type of appeal. Yeah, I recommend every song off this album, so this album gets a 10 out of 10, this mixtape. So the lead single is Virtual Blue Balenciaga. The lead single is Virtual Blue Balenciaga as far as this first gonna happen. It's like a glowy, kind of drowsy trap commerce kind of get thing. It's like a glowy, kind of drowsy trap commerce kind of get here as far as this pitch kind of happen. It's like a good one to get things done, just some sluggish kind of trudge as far as this pitch kind of happen. So just the pitch feels like a Juice WRLD type song, just a little bit more, it's a little bit more burly within the sense as far as those aspects kind of happen. Not as drug centric within the particular tone about it, but it's just the same sort of kind of somewhat cloud rap, somewhat kind of within the pitch of just a more drowsy and kind of sleepwalking kind of aspect, like some commerce, just in like some stunning type flash within the pitch. So it's definitely a pizzazz type song, but this is probably the flashiest song, one of the flashiest songs on here in terms of the pitch. I mean, I feel like when this album does stunt, it's in kind of like a sleepwalking type sense, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that has those aspects within the sense as far as saying, despite the fact that there's like preoccupiedness about a good course of this album, this is the pitch as far as saying that this the fare behind it has the pitch as far as saying that you do get some stunt type moments on here. There's some sluggishness, good type single. Slaying That Iron is a nice one. It's like a brooding kind of trap malaise kind of get here. This reminds of like Mixtape Lil Baby from like 2017, some of those type pitches. Just kind of a homely trudge about this one. It's a pretty lit type one. So just a pitch as far as saying if you like Lil Baby, like those pitches of some of those type songs he did back in like his mixtape run of the mid-late 2010s, some of those type fares. Just kind of the pitch as far as getting some of that type fare just in a commercial mixtape type format. Same sort of appeal. This was definitely a set mode and mood back in those days when you think of 2017, 2018, some of those just brooding type ones that just really let the trap, it just kind of let things bleed as far as those pitches can happen. Just an aspect as far as saying that this real, the flame is lit, some of those type tones that just really getting crunk as far as those are. You're really pouring your heart out as far as this pitch can happen, which is not a problem whatsoever. Definitely has a good aspect. Future's real excellent with like Future and Yo Gotti are real excellent with these as far as those first albums. A good type pitch. Now the probably most notable song off this product is Murder on My Mind. This is once again this song has over 1 billion plays. Real excellent type anchor. Top 15 singles to most type appeals. I'm sure there's a number of folks that probably remember this song within a relative type sense. Pretty. I mean, I would say considering that this is 7 years ago now, it's just kind of within pitch as far as that particular format. But it does have some banner typeness. Just a staple. This should have some nostalgia by this particular stage. I'd say Murder on My Mind's like an overcast kind of dredgy commerce kind of get here. Just a makeshift kind of trap. This is like a makeshift kind of trap song kind of get within those aspects. Just something for like the 2010s trap of IG living pitches like that. Some of those type fares just amidst like more 4 o'clock and 3:30 p.m. type dredge with an aspect. Just some usual day kind of slag I'd had to say here. Just grab some Arby's drives like that. Some of those type pitches. Within the format, when you think of folks like Project Pat and Meek Mill that are more normally caught up on paper, some of those type pitches are just like typical kind of courthouse runs. Some of those type fares just kind of the pitch. It is more uptown kind of swing. Some of those type formats, but it's also the pitch. Just kind of like an overcast kind of slag productive day of just where it's going to be kind of some traffic centric type. There's going to be some traffic centric typeness just within the formats. It's just the pitch as far as just applying this to like the frustrate if you want to switch out some makeshift to like the typical kind of pop and country and rock type tones or rap type tones within a healthier type sense of just the pitch of just getting something that's trap centric for like blue collar, white collar, kind of 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m. typeness, a good type tune for that, which was kind of a big product of what the YNW or the Melly vs. Melvin album from 2019 did. That has a lot more songs like Murder on My Mind, some of those type pitches. Fourth single, For Real, is a nice one. It's like a nice malaise kind of day relief to kind of For reals, like some nice malays, kind of day relief outings, kind of get here. Just a hypnotic kind of trap bump, I'd say about this one. Good surfing, but kind of a slag push as far as what's going to happen. This is just like a more brushy kind of combination with Murder on My Mind. And this one's not as malaise as Murder on My Mind is, but just kind of, it is the product when I said it was a nice malaise kind of day relief. It's just kind of the pitch as far as saying it just has a little bit more embrace towards it with the concept of it being more 445 pitches like that. It's kind of like some hypnotic kind of bump at it. It's good concept for like commerce, just like a concept of this kind of being amidst like the commerce, but just a little bit of extra pep. It's just still frustrate, has that slag type 5 o'clock p.m. type dredge about it, but it's just a good type product to just like the pep within it as far as this first happens. So just good type aspect for some of those type of appeals. Some of these type ones just work for that after effect of it. So most of these singles off here have something to do with like the product of just the hours between probably about 3:15, 3:30, about 6:45 pitches like that. Just that typical kind of late day, late afternoon, and early evening type relief as far as this first going to happen. Now slaying that iron is definitely like a more traditional type fashion and just more trap dredge pitches like that, and a more like Lil Baby and more dap hip mixtape type format. But the other ones, Virtual, Blue Balenciagas, Murder My Mind, For Real, and Mind on My Murder, the sequel to, or the spin-off of Murder on My Mind, are just with a pitch like that particular dredge. Now speaking of Mind on My Murder, the 5th single, now it's kind of strange that this wound up being the single, because this is basically just a variant of Murder on My Mind. Mind on My Murder is just a variant of Murder on My Mind. It's just basically damn near almost a carbon copy of that same production. I would have almost thought if it was going to have something, it probably just needed a little bit of something to have had some differential type tones about it, but it's basically like a dope trap ballad to kind of get here just to explain this song further between both these songs. This reminds of like Lil Durk kind of after this particular song reminds of like Lil Durk as far as what's first going to happen. Just some of those trap ballads, pitches like that. This after effect ruminated, I had to say here, good song to toke up. Now, it's not as commonplace. It seemed less common that YNW Melly was kind of smoking out this album. It's just good type pitch, get some of these type ones and just like the slag towards it. Just good moments kind of sneak in the smoke if you're able to within those pitches. And the format, getting some good grubs, some of those type formats, picking up like getting like a good quarter pounder burger from McDonald's or Whopper, some of those type pitches, just something to take the mind off as far as this pitch can happen. Is good grub, and then of course having that good food with like a grape swisher, strawberry swisher, some of those type formats just really takes the edge off as far as this first kind of just the pitch as far as having some of those type ones. But it's just the pitch, obviously taking if it just more in like a typical kind of personal life type dredge within the aspect. I mean, if it really is within the product of listening to these within the same caught upness or the just within aspects of litigation like YNW Melly's kind of within the pitch, but I look within the product just having that particular fare as far as just talking about some of these type ones that are just 4 o'clock p.m. type dredge just in a trap sense. So good type tones. I look after it here. Yeah, I recommend every song off this mixtape, so it gets a 10 out of 10. So some of these type ones just go down the list, like Mama Cries, a nice one's like a homely kind of Tupac-like, keep your head up in like late 2010s fashion and sense as far as what's first going to happen. This one is forlorn, but it's a good pick-me-up as far as what's first going to happen. So this is just traditional, this one is just homely traditional in the sense of what you see is what you get. This is the format of just being caught up in just the format of trying to make your family happier within some of those type pitches within the fare behind it. This could also be swapped out for like Bella's type fashion, just ball and chain type women within the pitch as far as what's first going to happen, just the aspect of it. As far as saying this, the report of just like, yep, you're in hustle type mode, but just touching base with home as far as this pitch going to happen. So good type tone. Wine for me is a nice one. It's like a summary kind of trap dance hall, I'd had to say here. This is likely what Vibes Cartel would have done had he not been in prison back in 2018 in the late 2010s, some of those type fairs. It's like a good poolside bounce kind of get here. So this is kind of a spur of the moment type one. There's not a ton of songs like this within this format. It's just kind of a good pitch, kind of get some of this type of appeal. Trap dance hall didn't seemingly commonplace happen as much. I think PopCon, at least folks like that were kind of doing that sort of thing, but within the pitch as far as like the noteworthy or just particular banner kind of trap dance hall, some of those type folks, it seemed kind of quieter unless they were just dropping singles, some of those type fairs. But just within the pitch, YNW Melly does a great job with this as far as those fairs going to happen. Just kind of a brief, kind of spruced up, just kind of have like Malibu rum, some of those type pitches, just some poolside fun within those particular appeals. Just kind of some relative kind of jaunts about it and jive as far as this first going to go. In the Mornings, another nice one. Now this one's similar to Mama Cry, but just a little bit more trap bass in mine. It's like a sludgy but stone face kind of finish late hustle up, I'd had to say. It's kind of diva and patient kind of transition as far as this first going to happen. So just a pitch as far as saying his flames, they're kind of within the aspect of this, talking about you're always in work mode, pitches like that. It's kind of formatted switching out of that particular flip mode as far as this first going to happen, but it's just kind of the grit of just being more attached towards like the aspect of getting to it more so than the aspect of being more personal within the fair. So it's just the pitch as far as those products gonna have, but it's just great. Kind of just, and this is another kind of sludge one, just with a more type product. It's another overcast type one, just from the product, but it works for like the tone as far as just like sauntering, so just our neighborhood bound pitches like that, some of those type fairs. Risk Taker is a nice one. It's like a spiffy and gussied up kind of homebound jump, I'd have to say, within aspects here. Just a primer for like some relative occasion pitches like that. It's kind of a chatty type song. So Risk Taker is basically one within the pitch as far as just like some jaw. Risk Taker is probably one that has some of the most excitement off this particular album. It's kind of like a jar type one, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying it's just the format of this. Like, it's not so much like a full bound kind of like house party kind of craze type factor where there's going to be red cups everywhere, but just within the pitch as far as saying just a good kind of primer for like Spotify kind of chillax type sesh within the pitch as far as what's going to happen. Just the aspect of just kind of more kickback of just punch bowl type occasion, some just mild kind of commute within the pitch of just relative kind of occasion. I'd say just a chatty type one. Good type pitch for that. Freaky Girl's an excellent type one on here. It's like a bruised and morose kind of trap flame jingle to kind of get within these aspects here. Just a good revamp and rewrite it like Freaky Girl by Gucci Mane from like the late 2000s. Good type pitch. Now it's a little bit more brooding, like the aspect behind it. That one was more of like a jumper, more spastic kind of nightclub type blitz, but this one in particular is kind of more brooding, kind of after hours smokiness to kind of get here. This one has a particular glow about it. So just some good strobe light type music, just after effected. This really caught up in like the more, it's either like some real kind of brooding evening type fare, just after effect of this moments, just more similar to the sort of kind of just anguish kind of songs that the weekend would kind of do at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning for like some Spotify bleeders as far as those first comes. So just after effect of just like that particular haze and just good kind of romantic fog as far as those pitch can have some good type tone. Drop Top is a nice one. It's like a dark and harrowing kind of Tybalt task trekking to kind of get here. Just Arby's and dim kind of supply run type music, I'd have to say, and it's just good for some traffic. So just kind of the pitch, just kind of a myth to run. Now, for the most part, there's not a ton of supply run type songs on here, pitches like that, where you would pick up like Box of Beer, some Crown Royal, some of those type pitches, extra Bic lighters, some of those type fairs, or just lighters like that. Just kind of the pitch as far as saying this in the product, as far as getting towards it. I just look after it, just being able to say good Arby's type runs. There are a few songs that have like some Arby's type moments, just kind of within the pitch of just getting more products just within the fashion, having like a few fast food joints are kind of within the in-between type fashion. So it's just kind of the moments where it's not as full bound kind of designated, but it's just kind of some extra fare to kind of have as like an extra kind of, as far as having like an extra kind of preoccupied as far as those first kind of just kind of miss it. I mean, with the harrow that kind of goes along with this album, it's just good to have some sprucing up, I'd say, with the aspect of it, as far as something that kind of not just the moroseness about this album is catching, but it is kind of something that you can really wallow within the wrong misencounter as far as this pitch counts. So it's just the pitch as far as saying would have is get some good supply runs going within some of those type formats. This Arby's pitches like that, I'd say. I look after it. Free Trail is a nice one here. It's dedicated to one of his homies that's serving life in prison. Excellent type fare. It's like a stock kind of dope homies salute to kind of get here. Good malaise and forlorn kind of outing, I'd have to say, within those aspects. There's kind of some preoccupied kind of day fare. So this one's just kind of the same pitch, just like Murder on My Mind, Mind on My Murder, some of those type ones, and also like another song on here like Had a Dream, some of those type pitches, but just the format of just not. This one's kind of more second hand within some of those type formats, this kind of pitch. It does kind of sing, the song does kind of add in like some ladies malaise as far as those pitches can happen. It's a good type one within the same relative aspect as some of these ones on here like Freaky Girl and Risk Taker. It does that like some extra vibes for Bell. It's like Freaky Girl and Risk Taker, some of those type pitches within the format. So this kind of pitch as far as just saying personal type one within the fashion, but just kind of pitch as far as just extra type fair, giving the rundown as far as the fair of keeping homies in mind just within those pitches. So good type format for that, just preoccupied within a sense, good type tone. I'm trying to think of other songs I haven't talked about on here. I don't think I've talked about IMU, and I don't think I've talked about Had a Dream yet either. So I'm going to talk about IMU first. IMU is like the title track here. It's like a starry kind of night pizzazz. I'd have to say just good Spotify stream ambience kind of get within those aspects. There's some Bella's kind of mess hall. It's like some good Bella's kind of mess hall time waste as far as those first come. So this is another one that goes great with Freaky Girl. I'd have to say within those aspects. It's kind of, yeah, IMU is just like starry with the pitch behind this good after effect. It is something that Juice WRLD would kind of do, but just a little bit more. It's like something that Juice WRLD would kind of do, but just a little bit more liveliness within the pitch behind. It's kind of aspect of dislikes and good kind of 8 o'clock p.m. look at the sky outside, the night sky, some of those type pitch, just smoke kind of within the aspect, just like some extra kind of time, just neighborhood type sense with that. It's kind of night shift kind of trap ambience within Spotify type sense. And those good type pitch, because this was in the earlier days of Spotify as far as this pitch kind of happens. So it's just good type one to have for some of that prime type era, getting some trap ambience just for some kickbacks and those type for some time waste. definitely within the aspect I'd say. YNW Home Invasion is a nice one. It's like an on the evening drive kind of stock IG white noise kind of get here with an aspect. This just feels great for like some after effect in between type moments for like Instagram stories, some of those type pitches. This is kind of like in a productive mode. I'd say just a hungry type one. It's kind of within the pitch as far as saying you look after it, it is kind of like some stunt and kind of flex type music, but it's also within the tone as far as saying that you're just kind of in a mode to get towards something within a pitch. This kind of one of those type ones, like Lil Durk was pretty good at these type ones later on when he started to get more commercial. It's just kind of the pitch where it's just kind of in a hungry type mode when you think of Tupac Ambitions as a writer, but just without the full blown kind of fury of that particular mode. Or Ambitions as a writer is probably like 10 o'clock riding at the crest at night. I feel like this is kind of the product of something that'd be more of like 6:45, 7:15 when you're about to ride out, but just kind of fashion of just like, just wanderlust kind of within the pitch behind it, just kind of aspect of it, just kind of some evening type aspects, just Instagram white noise on top of that. And I think I basically talked about every song. There might be one more on here. Oh yeah, I don't think I talked about Had a Dream. So Had a Dream's like a good trap makeshift to kind of get, I'd have to say, with an aspect. This goes with Murder on My Mind and Mind on My Murder, some of those type ones within those pitches. It's kind of a brushy, kind of half cloud rap as far as those pitches kind of have. So just the pitch. Same sort of product when you think of folks like Juice WRLD. This has some good Juice WRLD similarities, which is an excellent type pitch, but it's also just the format as far as just like more kind of trap makeshift transaction. It's like further kind of trap makeshift kind of transaction and just more Arby's Run kind of days and pitches like that, just in the format of just some day slide within the product of this typical report to things, but just within the product of this, it's the usual kind of fare within the aspect of this like day activity and just the product of this, the typical kind of ambition of like it's a typical kind of bite and ambition of like a day shift as far as those first games. So just within the pitch behind it. But yeah, I look after it. So I talked about every song on here as far as what's first going to happen. This mixtape gets a 10 out of 10. So just within the pitch, the social score, that's a little bit trickier. I'd probably give the social score maybe like a 9.5 out of 10. It's not to say this isn't quality. It does have a song with like a billion plays, pitches like that. But like I said, this probably could have used some degree. I question if YNW Melly was even able to be at like strip clubs, night venues, some of those type pitches, but just the aspect behind it, this is a lot more personal. This one to kind of be your loud pack for the rumination, kind of more moments where you're not as full bound. I mean, there are some homies moments on here, but still, it's just not within the pitch of very popular type moments. There's the occasional one, like Wine for Me and Risk Taker, some of those type ones, but for the most part, this is more isolated within the pitch as far as saying it just doesn't have the product of like kind of clink glasses, kind of festivities, and this overall blitzing kind of crazy effect within the pitch. And I mean, considering that trap was kind of in its prime, it's just kind of question as to why there wasn't some sort of, and even within like some stunt type songs, when you think there's not really flex songs on here, not really like get jazzed up, kind of just looking spiffy pitches like that. Some of those type most in the format as far as like some good kind of craze or like primer type songs, some of those type fashions or flip mode type songs within the pitch. It just kind of has mostly, it's not to complain, it's full bound because this is going to get 10, but it's just the pitch as far as saying when you think it just has a lot of just welcome type songs for like the pitch of listening to moments between, like I was saying, like 3:15, 3:30, about 6:45, some of those type fairs. So just like the wrapping up the day, late afternoon, finishing up the lunch shift, some of those type fairs, and just kind of doing that in a trap makeshift type sense. Like a few moments for like bellas just kind of that are noticing that you're hustling a lot, some of those type pitches, a little bit of summer shine on here pitches like that, and a lot of personal kind of brooding that just is similar to Lil Baby and like folks like that. I'd say probably Meek Mill in later years and just folks like that just are a little bit more of trap bleeders, some of those type aspects. Future definitely, I'd say. So it's just the pitch, but yeah, good type product within the aspects. I look after 9.5 socials. So in terms of future, like YNW Melly has dropped products and YNW Melly has dropped products in recent times that I'd say within those aspects, but he's kind of caught up in like a prison sentence. It's actually pretty harsh within those formats, so just had to say within the aspect. Hopefully they decide to give this guy bond and allow him to get back to doing music, some of those type pitches. I don't know the full extent of that particular story as far as those fairs can have, but just within the pitch, he does have some excellent music within those fairs as far as those pitches can have. So I just would say within those pitches, looking after here, this is a classic, pretty banner type one in a quieter era before he was really amidst like his problems with excellent type pitch. Just has some good brooding just in that. Just in the same product, the Lil Baby has some excellent type here, and this is a classic late 2010s trap mixtape.